We're live. We're live. Will, welcome to the podcast.
Thanks for having me.
What brings you here to California, brother?
Well, it's a lot of things. I think why everybody's probably here is for the money, right? Wouldn't you say so?
Well, I was born here. I didn't really have a choice.
But the weather's really nice. I grew up in Indiana, so really it's just flat there. Moved to Florida for a little bit. Super hot, super humid. The guys just hated working there, just because of just how hot it is. It's stressful going out early morning and all throughout the day, not having a normal break like you would at like a normal job. But out here, there's a little breeze, right? So and you get a nice view of just the mountains and stuff. I guess is what you guys call them, is mountains, right? Get a view of the mountains, have a nice breeze, but you also get that like Florida sun, so it's nice.
Nice. Are there mountains in Indiana?
Nah, it's just corn. Corn and grass.
Corn and fields?
Corn and fields, dude.
Gotcha.
Then there's a river. That's about it. It's the nastiest river, I think, in the country, too. The Ohio River. It's disgusting,
really?
Yeah.
Ooh.
There's not much to do there, really. There's really the only major city that I've ever like where we would normally hang out was like Evansville, Indiana. But even there, it's not like L.A. or Santa Ana or anything like that. So.
Well, how'd you get in door to door? So you grew up all the way through high school in Indiana, and you told me you were going to college. Were you getting a scholarship wrestling? How'd you find your college?
Oh, bringing back those days. So, yeah. Growing up in Indiana, very small town. Graduated with like 70, 80 kids in my class. So everybody just kind of goes to school, grows up, goes to college, gets a husband, wife, has kids, comes back to Indiana, has kids, and just works a normal, you know what I mean, just a normal life. And then they just kind of drink on the river on the weekends. I always wanted something more. My sister actually moved out to Seattle really young, whenever I was young too, like right out of high school. She was like, I'm out of here. So seeing her do that, I was like, man, there's got to be like just the stuff that she saw and explored and got to do and travel.
How'd she pull that off? Through college, or she got a job out there?
Just got it. Well, she went to school, and then she was like, there's got to be more in Indiana, right? This has got to be. So she moved out. But that was like the main factor, just seeing her do it. I knew that I can do it. So leading up to right before I went to college, was doing wrestling really well at wrestling. Loved it. I know you like wrestling too.
Dude, yo, you were 225?
Yep.
Dude, so you were heavyweight in high school?
No, heavyweight's 285.
Oh, wow.
Yep.
Man, I forgot. Dang.
285. I don't know what it is like in other states, but usually it's 195, 225, or 205, something like that. And then it's,
What is your like division for your high school? What did that look like? Was it a lot of schools or?
There was a couple. We had a conference section. So like just to get the states is sectional, regional, semi-state. Some people have like different conferences, different regions. So there's 4 to get the states. So I was getting looked at by a couple schools, nothing major, just a couple, I think like anywhere from like 13 to 14 Division II schools and a couple Division III. But I could have went anywhere I wanted, but I chose to stay home for a couple of reasons. Close to home where family was, so that everybody can come and watch and support and stuff.
Oh, that's big.
Yep.
That's actually a good idea.
So I chose Kentucky Wesleyan College. It's a private school over in Owensboro, Kentucky, right across the river from Indiana, where I lived. And, it was a lot of fun. Came in. I was the only freshman to get out of 19 of the guys that we brought on to be named a starter. So
nice.
I'm sure like just
that's huge.
A freshman, just kind of like door to door, just like your first day, just thrown to the wolves. Man.
Did you have to do wrestle offs to get a starter as dual? How many guys were in your weight class?
2.
Oh
2
man,
on the team. There was 2 other 197 pounders.
Oh my gosh. Oh, so you were cutting when you got to college?
Yeah, cutting weight. Yeah, because like in college, in high school, there's 14 weight classes. In college, there's only 10.
Oh,
so
wow.
Instead of the 225, it went to 197, and then it went to heavyweight.
That's why I was thinking, yeah. Wow, that's
so it's
awesome.
197, then it's straight to 285. It's a huge jump. So
that's too big.
Very big, yeah. So, yeah, I cut down, wrestled at 197. I tore my ACL and my meniscus. Lost 60% of my meniscus. It was bad. It was I just couldn't. You just can't get back to it after something like that, especially like those bigger weight classes. You know, wrestling grown men. You know, especially the guys who have been in it for a really long time. Most of the guys that I wrestled were, you know, they weren't like one and done. They're off to the Olympics or something. These are like, you know, junior seniors that you're going against. But it was a lot of fun. Traveled a lot. Went to a couple states. Got to see that side, and then tore my ACL. I was in a really bad headspace. I don't know if you guys have ever like gone through a heartbreak, but it sucks. So like, you know, when you're wrestling, my schedule was 4 a.m. to 6. We are wrestling for 2 hours straight.
Dang.
Then we shower, eat, you go to a class. Then 11:30, 12:30, you have a 2-3 mile run. Shower, eat, go to your night classes. And then since you were a freshman, we had mandatory practice from 4 to 6, another 2 hours of just straight mat time. Then after that, since you were a freshman, we had mandatory study table from 7:30 to 8:30. So it was lights out 8:45. And then I'm right back at it. So I had no social life. Literally didn't talk to anyone outside the campus. Was just in my own tunnel. And in the dorm rooms, it's kind of like a jail cell. Because it was almost like the military. It was rough. Really rough. It was a lot of fun. A lot of growing pains that you went through. And, like, you just saw yourself become, like, a grown man during that time. It challenges you a lot. It really does. But I was also heartbroken at the same time.
Why?
So the girl that I was dating in high school, wonderful, wonderful girl. The plan, you know, is to grow up, go to school, come back, start a family, you know.
Yeah.
She decided the day after I committed to going to the school that's close to home, she decided to move across the country up north, 8.5, 9 hours away. So it's like what in the world? Like, we just had this conversation. I just committed, put the hat on to a school to stay close so that we can make this work, and you decided to move across the country.
Do you know why she moved? I don't want to get too into it. I'm sorry, man.
I don't know. No, it's fine. It's good to talk about it because I know there's guys out there that, like, men just kind of keep their feelings to themselves, you know? And so it's not like a sob story or anything. I'm actually glad it happened because, like, now I'm, you know, in California talking to you guys. It's a lot of fun. But, yeah, it was really rough. She just picked up and left because, you know, where we grew up, it's so small. Like, everybody, there's not much to do. So I guess in her eyes, she was like, okay, I can get away from mom and dad. I can get away from all this small town life and go explore, kind of like what I wanted to do. But she just wanted to do it in a different way. And that's okay. But that's how I got to. But then, did you want to?
No, I was just going to jump in and kind of add on to, like, you know, I get it. I've had, my share of, like, you know, that sucked. But, you know, ultimately glad it happened because, I mean, we're all at this table now because of, you know, different results and different things that happen in our lives. And oftentimes that involves a female, right?
Yeah, dude. Yeah, so she moved away. I just went right back to it, wrestling, just super. And you already know how hard, like, mentally wrestling is. You've done it. And just that schedule, I was just bones. That's all I was. I had nothing, no headspace, was just stone cold. And then the injury happened, and I was like, dude, like, this is, like, the worst thing in the world. Like, I thought I hated my life at that time. I was like, dude, why is all this happening? I just committed. I lost my girlfriend that I thought that was like a forever. Just tore my ACL.
How far into the season?
Probably 3 or 4 months. Like, I wrestled probably 11, 12 matches, gotten some mat time, and then just boom.
Wow, you're just getting some momentum. I'm guessing in practice you got hurt.
Yeah, it was, and then you don't ever know it's torn, right? You kind of hear a pop, and you're
just
like,
trying to walk
whatever.
it off.
And then, you know, 2-3 days go by, and like that morning you wake up and try to put your foot down, and you just collapse.
So what kind of? So I'm guessing you were just kind of sitting in the mat room with a cast, and did you? What were when did your plans shift to where you were like, you know, you obviously have a decision. You're either going to try to get through this recovery, hope they keep you on the team, because there's a little bit of a risk they're not going to ask you to come back, I'm guessing.
Yep.
Right? Okay, and so then at what point when you have the adversity, did you pretty much decide to do? I mean, did you go straight into door to door after that, or what's the story?
The decision was right out of the gate was to choose the route of, let's just go all in on wrestling. And then whenever you go through all that, then like the alcohol, the drugs, the partying, after that, you kind of just sit there in your dorm in a jail cell, with your other guy who's complaining all the time, like, dude, this sucks, this sucks, this sucks. Yeah, it sucks. Everything during that time sucked. And then you start getting these like alcohol, drugs, partying. What if I go to university? What if I can go to be in a fraternity? Just throw it all away. So those the thoughts started to creep in. Now, my buddies, all of my best friends growing up, all of them, all went to the same university, literally an hour and a half down the road, at Western Kentucky University. So I was like, let's go party. Really, that's really all it was. Like, I never, I wanted to stick with wrestling, but it was just the worst mental space ever. And those thoughts crept in, and then that's what I chose, and it was bad, real bad. Went over there to Western Kentucky University with the homies. Got an apartment with them, just doing stupid stuff. I hate school, hate it with a passion. And like, I was studying business management and administration, and took some entrepreneurial whatever classes, and like, even in the like just sitting there, I'm like, dude, like I hate this. Even learning about the stuff that I like, I didn't like listening to them. And so I don't know what happened, but I was there was this career fair, this business career fair. You go in, you talk to some businesses, and I was like, okay, well, where am I going to work over the summer? I don't want to go back to the factory, right, and put car parts in a box and ship them off down the line and do 2,000-3,000 of them a day, 12-hour shifts. I was like, I'm not doing that. There's no way. Like, I can't go back. So yeah, so I'm sitting there in my car. I got a suit on. I'm like, this is stupid. Like, this is dumb. I don't want to walk in here. Everybody's gonna make fun of me. Those thoughts are creeping in, like the devil on your shoulder. You got, God sitting on the left and the other one's on the right. You have these two voices. Like, which one do I pick? That day I decided to not pick that. So I went in there, very nervous, like this kid that's like all shy away. Talked to some people, gave my resume out, stuff like that. So the very last person I talked to was just in the very back corner. He ran a pest control company down in Jacksonville, Florida. Mm-hmm. And, I'm sitting there thinking about partying, whatever. And then he mentions it's Florida. I'm like, wow, let's go to Florida. Let's go party, Went down to Florida, took it. I was like, all right, let's go down to Florida 2-3 months, summer, whatever, and then come back and go to school again. Went down to Jacksonville. That didn't really have any training. No, but I just packed up and left. I mean, that's how a lot of people do it. You just pack
this is like your summer?
Yeah, this is leading into my first summer.
And that was after 1 year of college?
Yep.
Wow, so you jumped from one college to another, and that second college you didn't do wrestling. You were just kind of hanging out with your friends.
Yeah.
Well, it sounds like you needed like a support system,
right?
Was your roommate in the first college a wrestler as well? Mm-hmm. Well, at least they have that going for you, because I would hope you guys are in kind of the same boat to support. Sure. But man, I mean, if you don't have a good support system, whether we call them accountability partners, or you have your parents, or for me, I have my wife. Mm-hmm. You got to have somebody that keeps you accountable to a goal. If that's starting to like get hazy, I think you're just going to gravitate toward people that are going to support you. So, I mean, I think in a good way, it's good that you went and found your friends, so you didn't have like a mental breakdown.
Yeah, for sure.
So then you went to college, and you finished. That's good. The semester out. So now you're going to Florida in the summer. So what did you think of door to door? That was your first type of commission job, I'm guessing?
Yeah. That's really like my second job ever. My first job was just in the factory, like everybody else. So leading up to it, I'm like, they're calling me a couple times throughout the school year, like, give me your pitch. And I'm like freaking out. Like every day, it's like at the same time, and I'm like freaking out because I know what's about to come. Then I'm just pitching them over the phone. It's like, whatever, like this, I got this. So packed up, drove all the way down to Florida with my dad. My mom was freaking out. She didn't want me to drive alone, so Pops came with me. Had a lot of talks. Got there, got unpacked, me and 5 other guys in one apartment. I was only there for like 2 weeks. Was promoted 2 or 3 times within that. So I was one of the top reps across the company. I think they had probably 17 to 18 offices around 12 states. One of the top reps during that time. So like everything had switched. Like I was partying. Now it's like, okay, I'm making money. This is cool. Like everybody's, giving me high fives. Everybody's pumping me up. So I'm getting a little bit of an ego. Now, I don't know if you know anything about Pest, but it's 9 to 9. Like we're up mornings super early and it's till dark, door to door. You got to watch your hours. You don't want to get super drained, right, during the day. But like they just didn't care because in Pest, you can knock every door. In solar, you can't knock every door. If they got solar, they got solar. You can't.
A renter can get Pest too, huh?
Right. And so like in solar, it's a little bit selective. You can control your energy, but in Pest, if they got a pest control company, I can switch them over. So I was told hit every door, every single door. And I met some solar guys weeks down the road, and I was like, man, what time did you guys get out here? They're like, I don't know, 3:30, and I'm like, 3:30, dude, I've been out here since 9:00 this morning. And he had just told me about it. Like this is, it's the same thing, just more money. And I was like, dude, like this is. I
want to know actually since you've been in it. What is the commission difference? Yeah. Like you were self-genning when you go into pest control.
Yep.
So, I mean, what like I'm guessing there's different packages and stuff. Sure. So what does commission look like for that?
It's different for every company. Some companies charge super high. Some companies charge super low. Ours was kind of right in the middle. Usually like an account for us is like $700. For a full year, which is every quarter they come out. It's like $150 a quarter.
They pay that up front, or is it like installments?
Yeah, as soon as it's serviced, you would get. So we were entry level. I didn't know how the structures work. I made 15% of every sale. So if I sell $1,000 worth, I make $150.
Wow, that's really low, man.
That's tough. Really low. So I did probably 18 accounts my first week. Not bad.
Well, that's good. Good production.
Yeah, very good production. But like, it wasn't even covering rent. Like, and in Pest too, they hold your money until the following season. So yeah, so it's called like back end. So your back end, they hold that until it's all fully serviced. You'll get the upfront. Once it's fully serviced, then you get your huge chunk.
I heard about that with Vivint too. Yeah, that they do something similar.
Yep. So
wow,
right out of the gate, like. They give you $500 a week to cover rent, and then they throw out a ton of cash incentives throughout the day and stuff. But like I never saw like $2,000-$3,000 checks. It was always like a couple $100 because that's just they hold it all until January, February, and then it's just one check. I don't know if that's for every company. That's just how it was for us. But yeah, but like the structure, I've met some pest control reps who are on like 65% scales. So if they sell $1,000 account, they make $650. Everybody's different. I was college entry level. I'm sure they probably took advantage of it a little bit. Like this kid doesn't know what he's walking into. I'm sure the manager probably got, a nice little check because of that, just because I had no idea. So 15%, that's not a lot on a pest control account. It's not a lot at all.
Yeah.
So I met these guys doing solar and I'm like, dude, you did 2 or 3 accounts like this week and you're quadrupling my money. There's no way. You're doing the same thing I am, working less hours. Yep. Like there's no way. And then on top of that, instead of adding a bill to someone's all the other bills that they got, people have hundreds of bills. Yeah. So I was adding on another bill on top of that. And in this day and age, people don't want, like no one wants extra bills. So it was like solar. I was like, man, like, which would I rather give my parents or my grandma and grandpa? So I was like, let's do solar because it's a bill swap or even less. So I was like, man, I can make more money doing it, but at the same time, it's cutting back on a bill or just flipping a bill. So that's why I really liked about solar.
Yeah. And, okay. So is that where you met Fuller?
No, right away? So not right away. So after I met those guys in Jacksonville, they put me in touch with their VP, whatever. Mm-hmm. And then me and a couple other guys, probably 3 or 4 guys, we ended up quitting Pest. We were like, screw this. We're going all in on solar. So we were homeless for 3 or 4 days, living in the cars. And then this company bought us an Airbnb for, I think, 4 or 5 days after that. So we were literally homeless, sitting in the parking lot, just sleeping in the car, going to Crunch and showering and eating whatever, fast food. Met these guys. They got us a B&B. And then I reached out to another solar company, Solar Pros, which you guys are familiar with now. Reached out to them, and then it was just a battle back and forth. They were coming into the Airbnbs at different times, pitching us on why they're the best and why we should choose them. I have no idea what's going on at this point. I have no idea. I am in the middle of Orlando, Florida, thousands of miles away. My mom's freaking out. I have to go back to school. I don't know what's happening. I just have my car. That's all I know. And a couple clothes. I'm like, what is happening?
So you already got a solar close when they're trying to get you to Solar Pros? Yeah. How long? Wow. A couple days you said though?
Yeah. Yeah, a couple days.
Dang. So you self-genned a solar close in your first couple days?
Oh no, sorry. I didn't understand what you said there. My fault. No, so we're just sitting in the Airbnb and they're pitching us on who to choose. I was gonna go the other route, not with Solar Pros, but
because Solar Pros didn't get you an Airbnb. It was his first company.
It was his first company, but one of the managers that ran an Orlando office came in and just pitched us on why, brought a bunch of gear. You know how it is.
Wine and dine, they call it.
Yeah. Brought us whatever. Eventually, 2-3 days down the road, they're driving in from all over the place to come and talk to us, and it's all crazy what's happening.
Why did they want you so bad?
I don't know.
How many of there were you?
There was 3 or 4 of us.
How'd y'all meet? Just through Pests?
Yeah, so the guy who originally recruited us out to Pests, they were from West Virginia, South Carolina, Indiana, and then one of them was from New York. So we all liked solar a little bit better because I was pitching them on the side about it.
Well, that's what's cool is that you were the one who met a solar guy, and then you got like 3 other guys to jump with you.
Right. Yep.
Wow, that kind of shows that you're a leader naturally.
Right.
You gotta get people to follow. That's pretty cool. And were you guys on the same pay level as Pest? How do you convince 3 guys to be homeless? Walk me through, like, what in the world?
Yeah, that's it. I don't know. It all just happens, you know. You never, like, even now to this day, I have no idea how this happened. It all happened so fast. But we're just sitting there at the apartments. We're like, dude, like, why would I not go make more money somewhere else and work less hours and work less hours, make more money, and save people money.
And you all lived in the same apartment?
Same apartment.
Okay, that's a big deal.
Right.
Okay, so they're your roommates.
Yeah. And so I was like, dude, there's no way I don't like give this a shot. I might as well. I'm all the way out here. You know, I only got a couple months. Might as well just give it a shot and make a little bit more money than what I was already making. Especially whenever they hold my money, right? They're holding it until the next.
I feel like that's a way to keep people from quitting because when you quit, you forfeit the money.
For sure.
That's a ripoff.
Yeah.
That's crazy, man.
And I had no idea. So I have no idea what's going on. I have no idea what solar is. I have no idea. But we did know that, like, why not? Like, you know what I mean? Like, we're here for a couple months. We might as well just give it a shot.
Okay, so the solar managers wine and dine you, and you jump ship, I'm guessing. Mm-hmm. And that's within the week?
Yeah, within a couple of days. They literally... I won't mention his name, but he literally grabs my totes of like stuff that I had from my car and throws it in his car. And he says, you're like, they're like, that's it. You're just coming with us.
How did they even get in touch with you?
I DM'd him and said I was in Orlando, and then an Orlando manager reached out like immediately, called me like immediately.
You saw like an ad on YouTube or something on social media?
I don't know. I guess it was, I don't know. I guess I just typed in solar on Instagram, and that was one of the first ones that popped up.
This is big. Yeah, because honestly, the whole reason we're starting this Iron Mill podcast, and like, not only is our goal here is to really broadcast, in our eyes, a biblical patriarchy is not the word, but a biblical man who could set up a family. I don't mean patriarchy, but I mean that kind of like reinstill what a lot of people are trying to do is like reinstill men as leaders. And, our society's flipping where women are becoming leaders and men are becoming women, and, kids are, it's really sad. And it's honestly, it's, what's that saying that, good times create weak men?
Yeah, good times create weak men. Weak men create
bad times. Bad times create strong men. Mm-hmm. We've had good times for a long time, and we got a lot of weak men. Mm-hmm. And we need men with spines. And so hopefully, I mean, there's so many entrepreneurs out there. They're all preaching different things. And we just want to preach just through, I guess, our character and our work ethic, that no matter what you do, you give it your all, God's going to bless. Mm-hmm. And a big temptation of making big money is to live that old lifestyle of partying and drugs and drinking. But in order to even perform at the level that gets you rich, you need to have a sound mind. You need to be sober. You need to be locked in, really. Yeah,
a disciplined mind is an effective mind.
Yeah, isn't that the poster you just showed me in your room?
I think it is.
That's a good one.
Shout out John Doyle.
Yeah, baby. John Doyle sounds familiar. Who is that?
I've probably mentioned him before.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. But anyway, my whole point with that is that there's a lot of solar pages. There's a lot of pages of entrepreneurs. But I think some people are kind of turned off to it because, one, it seems a little too good to be true. And then if all you're showing is money, it comes off as arrogant sometimes. And I think that's what makes it look too good to be true. Right. And so I really don't want us to have to flash money here. But if anybody is watching or listening, I want them to know that we're not in this job just to be rich. We're in this job it sounds like you were really on a path to independence. You were inspired by your sister being independent, and then you did your own endeavor. And it actually blows me away that I feel like we're not even halfway through the story. And I mean, you had a lot of faith, man. You took a lot of risks. I've spent one night in a car, but I wasn't homeless. I just gave a dude a ride to the Bay Area. And then that was what a crazy night. But I just couldn't imagine saying, let me jump jobs and just ditch an Airbnb. I think a lot of people are built on security. And so why were you so willing to take these risks in your life?
Yeah.
I hope that's not too broad, open.
No, it's not. Question. It's just from the background that I come from, I was always seeing my parents just struggle a lot. Always floating, trying to stay above water, trying to do, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. I relate to that.
Sorry?
No, I really relate to that.
Yeah. And so, they would have to ask my grandma and grandpa for money here and there. You know what I mean? And so I promised my mom that I would do a lot for them after I came out here, and that's what I'm going to do.
I love that. I'll tell you, man, when I worked Domino's, I had to ask my mom for a lot of money, a lot. And then when I got this job, bro, praise God, I've had my mom have to ask me for money a few times.
Yeah.
And obviously we pay each other back, just I don't know, it's just cool thing to do that your mom's like, oh, help me out, I'll pay you back. And I'm always like, oh yeah, mom, I'll pay you back. Back when I had Domino's, I don't think I ever paid my mom back. That's why I feel bad. And so I don't want my mom to pay me back for all the any time. When God gives you a blessing, it's what's that phrase, pay it forward?
Yes.
I think that's what people need to use with an opportunity like this, where if you do have an opportunity to get rich, you better make sure you remember all the people that supported you when you needed the help. That's huge, man.
Yeah. I was actually just talking with a buddy yesterday about it, and arguably I'd say children have an obligation to bless their parents.
Right.
I'm trying to think of the verse. There's a generation that curses its father and does not bless its mother. Proverbs 30, verse 11. I don't know what version that is, but I was just talking with a guy about it yesterday. So, because I was, kind of mentioning the same thing of okay, what do I want to do for my parents, and what can I do after I'm here for a while, and I'm in that process right now of kind of getting off the
you're leaving the nest?
Yeah, basically. I mean, basically I've left the nest already.
Right.
There's still some little bit of help here and there, they pay my car insurance,
right.
But technically, I could take it over right now.
Right.
And so they help out here and there.
Well, that's just them loving on you.
Exactly. So
they're just loving you.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So, it's not a necessity anymore, but it's still something they do. And I appreciate that. And just in the process of kind of switching everything over to where in a real short amount of time, everything kind of swapped to where I'm pretty much, we rent this house.
Yeah. Well, that's the duality mindset. Seriously, Liam, because I like that the Bible says it's a generation, because it really is. This generation, you're meeting a lot of people. I mean, it could be the way the government's structured with the welfare system. It could be, I mean, obviously social media, and there's a lot that's influencing it, but you're going to have two types of young people our age. One who feel obligated to receive, and they're like, I am owed this.
Entitled.
Exactly, entitled. There you go. They have an entitled mindset. I want to go to college. I'm entitled a free ride. I'm entitled support to get there. Like, that's not how it works. I mean, if it might, but you're going to be in debt, you know. Now, there's a politician that's entitled to erase the debt for me. That's who I'm voting for, you know. And my parents are just entitled to support me no matter what. Like, no, your parents are people that have life experience. They don't have to agree with you, and you should probably listen to them. You don't have the right to disrespect your parents, you know. And then when you fall on your face from your consequences, you're going to answer for it, not your parents not being there to support you, you know, when you're being the prodigal son. And so that's really a call that especially young men need to wake up, that we're not entitled to life. We're not entitled to riches or freedom or family. We have to make the decision to be a better man, make the decision to respect, and then return the favor to your family, which I really hope you can do, man. Seriously, which you're already doing, you know?
That's really all what, like, just even like, not even just my parents as well, like my wrestling coaches, you know, like asking, you know, like other parents, like, hey, what do you think about this? And they would give me advice. I want to give back to not only my family, but like everyone else that's helped me get to where I'm at. My wrestling coaches, my football coaches when I was a little kid telling me to push, you know, and you don't want to. I want to give back to those people too, because they've done a lot for me. And also, like, I went to a private education. Like, that's 30, 40, almost 50 grand a year.
Oh, wow.
That's a real private education.
For college.
For college.
Yeah.
Dang. How did you get a student loan? How did you pay for that?
Yeah, student loans, but I had some scholarships, but it's not enough. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so my family put a big risk on putting me there.
Wow.
I didn't have enough for it. So, you know, they took out loans too. And it's like, you know, they're sacrificing for me. So it's only best that I give back. And I got some plans coming. I won't, because she'll probably listen to this. But I'm going to go back home after the season. I'm going to do something real nice for her.
Oh, man, that's awesome. That's awesome, Will.
I'm in the process of kind of thinking up some plans myself. So
yeah, like whenever you're sitting there, like, you're just like, man, like, because that's really what was driving me too. Is like I left, before I left, I promised her that I would retire her, pay off the house, something. As soon as I left for Florida, I was like, Mom, I promise I'm gonna do something. And so sleeping in the car, it's like I made Mom a promise. I got to do something. I can't just go back with my tail tucked. I got to do something. Dad drove me all the way down here and took a plane back. Like, they believe in me. I might as well, like, I got to do it. There's no way. And so just seeing them up late nights, like worrying about just trying to float, putting me in a private education when they didn't have to, taking all that risk, paying for whenever I wanted like a bat when I was a kid for travel ball. Like, they didn't need to do that stuff, but they did it because they love me. So yeah, I'm going to give back to them.
I love, man, and I know you'll agree, man. I love the conversation switch when you're making the jump, that they all love you so much. They're warning you of all the risk you're about to take. Yes. Like, man, you know, like there's more security in this job, or make sure there's benefits, make sure there's this, make sure. And I remember my parents just, you know, wanting to give, like, hey, you don't have to move to those apartments. You can stay in our house, you know, and like just all these, you know, advice and recommendations. And they're just trying to, but at the same time, you still you don't really feel independent yet. You really feel like, okay, my parents are still, like, I haven't really earned the wings yet. I'm still part of it. But then now, I mean, oh man, now when I'm showing them I made $18,000 in a week, and they're like, now I'm getting texts like, congratulations, Tom. My dad texted me last week, hey, there's a neighbor that is interested in solar. I shot him your number, and here's his number. And so, like, now, like, the conversation with my parents is all congratulations, you know, we're so proud of you. And it honestly, that's more rewarding than money or a house or anything. The fact that my parents, who they wanted the best for me, and were like really worried about seeing their little chick leave the nest, and then I know I made them proud, dude, that's the payoff when you make them proud.
100%. It's worth it all, and it gives you a fire and like a fervency to just go and just kill it. Like it makes it all worth it. I'll tell you, made this summer worth it. I canceled a bunch of plans of this summer. Talked to Tom a little bit about that this last week, but I canceled like everything, and I just full committed. And to be at the end of the summer and like not being where I wanted to be, but still doing great, but not being where I wanted to be, it was like kind of a kick in the teeth to myself. Like I said I was going to do this, and now I'm going home for a week just to kind of reset and get back into the game. And just being able to go home where I was at with that payoff, and just being able to tell my parents about a paycheck that's around the corner, or this or that, or just I mean, I said goodbye to them like less than 24 hours ago. So and it was like last thing they said, that they're proud of me. And
that's awesome, man.
It makes it all worth it.
Seriously,
it does. And then like just like what you're saying, like what if this doesn't work out, what if this, what if that, well what's the benefits of, like, do you have dental, or I'm like, whatever, burn the ships, like burn it all, I don't care. Like I don't care about any of that.
it's good you're blessed with a smile, bro.
You know what
I'll
I mean?
say
It's
that.
like, dude, I don't, like, Mom, I don't care, like I'm good, like I'm coming back with something. So I text, like, even like after the season, I like usually I work throughout the whole year, because that's what I'm used to, is just like a blitz schedule. But now they're like, yeah, we only work till October 1st, and I'm like, what are me and like 9 other guys that I brought from Florida gonna do for 3 months in California? It's like, well, I text my mom, I was like, hey, let me know you and Dad's like schedule. I'm gonna book a B&B in Florida for 3 months. You guys can stay there whenever.
Wow, that's pretty cool, man.
I might just go to Florida and hang out. Might go to Greece. I got my passport. I was thinking, man, I might just go solo to Greece and have Mom and Dad come out. Something. So I was like,
Yeah, I want to get out of the country this November for my anniversary. There's big goals, man. But yeah, that's pretty cool that we do take months off as a break.
I had no idea. Everybody's like,
you had no idea?
I told them no, because I'm used to a blitz schedule in Florida.
Oh, blitz? Describe that for me. What's that?
So a blitz, like, you guys, how you just wake up and go to work Monday through Saturday.
Yeah.
So a blitz schedule, like with us, because like where I was living in Florida, the utility companies that we were working around are hours, like an hour plus away, like the main ones that we were hitting. The other ones that's around me, I can't do a lease or a PPA. Okay. So with that, we were like, okay, well, let's go book a B&B for 2 weeks, 3 weeks in a city, rip it, come back home for a week, take off, go back, do it again. You know what I mean? So that's all we knew was
take a whole week off.
Yeah.
Wow. Well, at least you can like recharge.
Right.
That's good.
Because a blitz, it's go, 9 to 9. You know what I mean? It's you're already trained up. We're going. We're hitting as many people as possible. We're trying to help out as many people as possible. Then we're going back home.
Yeah, that's kind of what Palmdale is, where we're at. Nobody's really from what I've seen, no one's really willing to set up shop out here, and neither was I. I mean, we were in Riverside, guys in Santa Ana. The thing about Palmdale, Lancaster is, I mean, it's a good size, but it's very isolated. It's over a big hill. It's a commute away from anything else. Exactly. And so I'm telling you, the only reason that I was willing to build shop here is because I am trying to get the college degree finished, and there's a college here. And then the fact that there's a lot of hungry young men trying to start their lives in a career, I saw an opportunity to give them a good opportunity, because obviously people are going to college for opportunity. They're trying to find a career. They're trying to get a path out of their home and to build their own, at least. And so, I mean, God really opened a door where now we have a bottomless funnel of recruiting potential, and you're able to influence and provide opportunities to people. So then, yeah, that's why now this is our permanent headquarters. The only downside, if there is a downside to that, is that I can't go blitz outside of the valley. But this is usually a blitz location, is my point. Like, this is somewhere where people, let's run to Palmdale for 2 weeks, blitz, and then go back home.
Right.
We pretty much set up, our territory is a blitz spot. So
yeah, most people I meet on the doors are blitzes.
Yeah, they're all from like way out of town. Like, we just came out here.
I think I met one who said, "Oh no, yeah, we're local now." I'm like,
Usually a very small team.
Yeah.
If they're local.
Exactly.
They're usually hiring locals. And we do have a couple locals. This next week or two, we have the 2 locals, and then Keenan just joined. Keenan's a local. He lives down the street from us. But yeah, even the most people that we're bringing out are one's from Stockton, El Monte, and Florida. So,
right.
But that blitz schedule, man. How do you feel about that compared to what we do now, where you're constantly just, it's your 9 to 5 is solar. What's that like?
I love it. Just being able to wake up, like actually go to the gym, and do like have a normal routine in the mornings, because that's key. So the guys aren't just rolling out of bed and going knocking on people's doors. You know what I mean? They actually get like a life. They get to enjoy the apartments, the pools, the whatever it is, the movie rooms and stuff like that. The blitz schedule is just it's just grind. Waking up and grinding. And then people just get burnt out so easy, especially in Florida when it's hot. You're burning up here too, and it's tough going 2-3 weeks at a time, no breaks, Monday through Sunday, just burning doors, and it's tough. It's really tough. I want
to piggyback on that. I hate to cut you off, but I don't want to lose this thought. So you're right now observing what 2 different schedules do, and this is how I know you're a leader. You're watching what it does for your recruits. You're kind of observing my recruits get burnt out in a blitz. And then now you're kind of seeing they're more able to. We call it, you have a day within your day. You want to have a day apart from the doors, so you feel like you have your own personal life and you have work in a day.
Right.
Now tell me, your recruits that I don't know if any of them have stuck with you since the pest control, but when you bring guys out, how do you get them excited about this job? And because I feel like a big part of me getting someone excited about the job is almost getting them excited about what you're going to be able to do outside the job in a weird way. Do you know what I mean?
Right.
So kind of walk me through how do you get somebody to get excited about the job? And then how did you get 9 guys to come with you from Florida, like to here?
Yeah. So getting excited about the job, it's, you have to have a structure. So like where we were back in Florida, there was no office. We woke up and we just went to work. So there was never all this hype. There was never like, patting on the back. Just wake up, go to work. If you fail, like you're out. You know what I mean? Here it's like you have a team. You have a group of guys who have done the exact. Like we're all in the same boat. We're all burning the boats together. And so it's not like single-handedly like, oh, dude, this sucks. But like everyone's going through it. Everyone in the office is going through exactly what you're going through. So you know that if they can do it, you can do it. And so people see the cars. They see the offices. They see, Donald Trump. They see all that. They see all this stuff, all the travels, all the vacations. Hey, man, you want to come out and work super hard, make a ton of money, and then travel for 3 months? They're like, what? Hell yeah. Like, tag me in, right? Like a normal 9 to 5, it's, hey, you go to, like, you'll never get rich on a 9 to 5. You'll never have 3 months off, ever.
Yeah.
Ever. And so really, like, sometimes I don't do it often, but like showing closer paychecks, right? Do you keep it away? Yeah. But it's real. It's real, and you can do it, and you've done it. So you can now show wherever you're at, you can show 100,000 people to do it because you've done it. Yeah. And so sometimes, not often, but I'll show my guys those checks because they know what they're striving for, right? Setters don't want to see $1,000, $2,000, $3,000. They want to see $15,000, $20,000, $130,000 a couple weeks ago. You guys saw that?
Yeah.
In a week, $130,000 in a week.
Steven Roselle.
Dude, that is life changing.
Yeah, it is
for a 19-year-old kid like that. You could live off that for 3 years probably. You know what I mean? 3-4 years. That's life changing. And so I think personally, like I love that office structure, that kind of 9 to, because I going to school, I love wearing suits and stuff. I don't wear a suit to the office and stuff, but like just having that vibe of like, oh, hey, we're going to the office. We're going to go over this. We're going to get better today. And then we're going to go execute. Not just, hey, let's roll out of bed and let's just go to work. It doesn't work. You got to have a life. And I'm very extroverted during the day, but I'm super introverted. Like I have to have my peace. Like Drake always says, you got to have your peace. And so the mornings is like, that's me. Like keep all your questions throughout the day. But like in the mornings, I want to do my thing. And then once I clock out, mentally, I'm done. Like, no more solar, no more work. Like 9:30 hits. Like, let's do something like together as a team. So.
Okay, so what about Solar Pros? So you're saying that they didn't have an office structure?
They might in other parts, but like where I was in Orlando, no. So they use Freedom Forever as their installer. You know what I mean? So where we were, I was bouncing around from Daytona to Orlando. They were throwing us in housing. We had no structure. It was just wake up, set appointments. That's it.
You guys didn't close?
I was setting.
All of you?
Mm-hmm.
Who is your closer? How does that work?
So there was a couple closers. We were blitzing. So like we would run card groups. Whoever wanted me as their setter, they got me. First come, first serve. You know, the best of the best. The closers get to choose their setters, and then that's the card group you run. So
I'm a little confused. Okay, wait. So there's a manager and closers, and you don't meet with them in the morning for an office?
Nope.
You communicate with them through group chats?
Yep.
So then you say, hey, we want to do a blitz here. They give you approval. You guys all start knocking doors?
Well, they just said, hey, we're going to this city. We're going to Tampa.
Oh, they decide where you're going?
Yeah. I didn't have any say as a setter. So
Gotcha.
They were like, hey, we got a B&B in Tampa. Load the cards up. Let's go. But really, I had no meetings, no correlation.
You never
nothing.
met with them? Like, what does trainings look like?
So at first I lived in Daytona Beach,
Uh-huh.
and they lived in Orlando. So we had an hour and a half commute. So I never had any type of like one-on-one for at least a month. But, you know, the VP would come down and work with us for 2, 3, 4 days out of the week. And that was it for a month. And then they finally moved us over to Orlando. And that's when I finally got. Still, I really didn't even get any type of no office, nothing. Just imagine, just wake up, go to work with 2, 3 other setters. And then we had to like get each other, like pump each other up. Like, hey, we can do, you know what I mean? Setters don't, like they need people around them. You know?
Dude, you need
leadership.
Support. This is what we said in
support,
the, you need it from the very beginning. And that kind of blows my mind because, I mean, outside of just getting someone motivated to work hard and trained to work good, how do you guys stay accountable? What do they do if somebody's not doing well? If they're not even around you on a daily basis?
There was no quota.
Wow.
There was nothing. It was just go to work. And so me just being a natural leader in wrestling and football, baseball, whatever I did, I was like, hey, you know, excuse my language, but get your ass up. We got to go to work. You know what I mean? And like,
crack me up.
They're all like just sitting there playing video games. There's 100,000 dishes and just stuff thrown over there. I'm a neat freak.
Yeah.
So like naturally being a neat freak and like just like you're already kind of like a leader because you're already picking stuff up and everybody sees you doing it and you're like, oh crap, I need to pick up.
You know what that's called? It's called servant leadership.
Yeah.
It means that you're not going to say, hey, do that. Yeah. No, it's like, no, there's a problem. I'm going to fix it. Yeah. That's the best way to lead.
And really like once I started getting to this level of, okay, I'm not a setter anymore. I know what's going on. I know like the ins and outs of the business. Why is this not happening? Why is this not happening? Why is this not happening? Mm-hmm. And as you go, you see people diminish. Like I've seen probably at Solar Pros where I saw 40, 50 people come in right out the gate. Gone.
Because they have no support.
Nothing.
No accountability.
No quota. No one saying do that. Like nothing.
And you also, when you're around an office, you get to rub shoulders with top hitters.
Exactly.
And you get to pick a top hitter's brain. You get an opportunity to say, what does your schedule look like so that I can mirror success?
Yeah. The only person that I got was the VP of that region, I guess. So I guess there's a couple, probably 30, 40 VPs. I don't know. But I just picked his brain day in and day out, and he hated me for it. He was always like, Will, you're so annoying. But, like, look at where I'm at now. You got to find the best guy, pick their brain on what they're doing, how they structure it, and then build it out exactly the way he did it. And then that's what I did. So I saw what he did, and I just took and ran with it. And once I got to this next level of setter pro, setter all-star, closer, and I saw that I had, like, you know, momentum.
You were a closer in Solar Pros?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. What was that journey? How long did that take?
Yeah, so
what did that entail?
I came in like end of May. So May, like probably like 10th.
What year?
Went to Jack's 2023.
Oh, so this was last year? Okay.
Last year I was
a setter. Dude, that's when you were a setter.
Last May I was a setter.
Wow, that's around when I became a closer. Mm-hmm. Okay, so walk me through your journey.
Yeah, so May of last year, dropped out of college. Actually, well, before that, I hadn't dropped out yet. I take that back. But went down to Jacksonville, was there for a couple weeks. End of May, I was in Orlando. Or I'm sorry, I was in Daytona Beach, knocking doors for solar. Probably 3-4 months down the road, I'm learning how to close, but there was no training. It was, hey, we'll come over, we'll sit you down, show you how to close. None of that. I learned it all myself. I watch a couple videos, Taylor McCarthy.
Of course. Yeah. That's where I learned. Absolutely. That's where I learned how to set, man.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Seriously.
Not one person ever sat me down and said, hey, Will, this is what you need to do. This, and this. This is how you say it. Never.
Well, here's the thing that you said you had to pick the best brain. So I'll just be very transparent. I'm a very prideful guy. I like feeling like I did it myself. Mm-hmm. So we always had trainings in Jungle U, like you've seen. We always had guys that rub shoulders, but I'm just the kind that I get a little too competitive. If you guys ever played a game with me, I get competitive. So it's hard for me to see top guys and not treat them as competitors.
Right.
And so
for sure,
thankfully, a guy like Taylor McCarthy, the best in the whole business, put videos, and that's where I took my game to the next level. So instead of being physically talking to a top performer, I was able to watch on YouTube. And I mean, I studied his videos. I learned his cadence. I learned his approaches. And I love that when Taylor McCarthy went out, it was like he was on MTV. He's
dude, it's the coolest
he's entertaining.
Thing. It's the coolest thing. Everybody's behind him. He's like, hey, I'm just babysitting. There's 100 guys. Yeah, there's 100 guys behind him. It's just funny. And people get to see, they're like, oh, what do you want? You know, and people buy from just not because he's selling it, just because he's just so just funny.
He's super confident.
Super confident.
And that's literally, I mean, that's why whenever someone says, watch the best and pick their brain, I'm 100% with it, because I only got better when I was watching Taylor McCarthy and, picking his brain through a screen. I have this really cheesy fanboy moment where I was on his live stream and he was asking people what do you need to be successful in solar? Starts with a P. People couldn't guess it. He's like, if you guess it, I'm going to send you something in the mail. No one would guess it. And I'm watching it with our setter. And we're in the car on the live stream. And I was like, dude, I think it's purpose. I was like, I've seen enough of his videos. It has to be purpose. You need a why. And then no one could guess it. And I just put purpose. And then he was like, Thomas Ray Perez, he got it. Thomas, send me your address. It was just cool. I was like, bro, Taylor McCarthy said my name. I was tripping out, dude. I was like, this dude trained me. I don't know. I was tripping. I had a fanboy moment. It was like in a concert if the dude threw a T-shirt at you. I was tripping, man.
For sure.
What was it?
Huh?
What was the thing?
Oh, well, he's a salesman. He didn't send me nothing. But he was going to send me.
Funny.
He was going to send me a sports thing. I have the DM, dude. I knew he wasn't going to send me nothing.
Wow,
hey, the shout out was enough.
Yeah, that's funny.
Yeah, it was funny.
I figured.
Watching his videos, and I think, I'm brand new here, but what I've seen here, I really think that he's a really good example of just having people to come around and encourage each other and build each other up. That's where you're going to see your performance rise, because you're talking about these guys with this split schedule where they're just running you until you burn yourself out, and they're the ones that are making the most money.
Right.
Wow, that's a good point, Josh. Yeah.
Yeah, because you're all coming together and you're helping each other make more money, and then you're all working your way up together, and everybody wins.
Mm-hmm. Well, that's a good thing to bring up. Yeah. What's the pay like for a setter at Solar Pro? So I'll be transparent on New Sun's end. So if you want to join Solar, don't go anywhere but New Sun, because New Sun gives a setter about 30% commission check, and you get 50% of that fronted. So you're going to get 50% of the bill, whether it installs or not, up front. Then you're going to get the back half of that 30% when it installs. To me, it's the best way to structure pay. But I've heard a lot of setting based is either that pest control style, where you have the back end, that's like a Vivint style. And then I've heard, and even me personally, in a door knocking job for construction, where you get paid hourly. If you ever go to the mall, you guys see those solar.
Yep.
Yeah.
Those dudes are getting paid. Oh, it's so sad. They're getting paid like phone salesmen, where they get an hourly salary. And then if they have to sell, they have to get a certain amount of closes, and their bonus is like $100, and the highest is like $350. It's really sad, really sad. I was actually talking to a guy, and he said, well, if I get like 8 closes in a quarter, then my commission for a deal is $350. And I was like, what? Yeah. I was like, homie, that's like half the bill of like the smallest possible system.
Yeah.
That is sad. What was Solar Pros like for you, pay wise?
Solar Pros is good as a setter. It's just like people always complain about the, like your upfronts getting clawed back. Here, there's no callbacks upfronts, which is nice.
Okay, what's the pay scale?
Oh, pay scale, setter 30, setter pro 35, and then setter all-star it's 50. So,
and that is after or before install? How does it work for a setter?
So setter up front, you get 1,000 flat every single deal.
Every deal.
And
then the back half of 30% after install?
So after install, you get the other 80%. And then once PTO hits, then you get 20% of that. It's wild. Obviously, not every system you're getting 1,000 up front. You may only make 1,000. You may make less than 1,000 on some deals out there. But every deal, it's 1,000 up front. If it cancels, 1,000's coming back.
That is really well. That's how a closer's set up, and this is why I love New Sun, because New Sun favors the setters. And I'm be straight up with you guys. You guys are in setters. A closer gets punished, and that's how it should be. Mm-hmm. Like you were saying, the people who are making the money, and a lot of structures they make it where setters are taking hits for a closer's fault. Yeah. Because once a deal signs, it is the closer's responsibility to get it installed. The setter has no control over something like that. Mm-hmm. And the fact that companies are willing to punish setters and claw back a deal, they had no control over an install. Mm-hmm. That's robbery.
That's why the retention rate is so low.
Of employees, you're 100% correct. Yeah. Because someone can see their respect. When a setter earns the money for a sign, you should never ask for that back, because their job is to set appointments, not get installs. Yeah. That's a closer's job. And so if a setter does the work, knocks that neighborhood, they deserve to get paid for a close. Period, the end, and that's where it's going to stay. And the way Jordan Binning sets it up is that we have an adder. And don't overcomplicate your head as a setter, but an adder is pretty much where when you sign a deal, there's going to be a percentage of your check deducted to the company so that the company fronts a setter. So all of your guys' setter pay is done by the company, not us. Mm-hmm. And in a way, it punishes me more than you. So for example, you guys have a cap because you're a baseline setter. So your cap is $3,000, okay? But that's $3,000 at 8 kilowatts. So let's just be theoretical, okay? Wrap your head around it. Don't get too complicated. But it's a $350 adder, okay? 350.35 on my check. If I close a 15 kilowatt for you, you're going to get paid $3,000, but I'm going to pay the company. Let me do the math really quick. 0.35 multiplied by 15. I'm going to pay the company $5,250. You're only going to get paid $3,000. So the company is going to take more from me, but you're still going to get all of your check. What that does is give the company more capital to pay a setter no matter what, because when you do get a deal and it doesn't install, I'm not only going to get charged back, but you're not going to get a clawback. So it's a safety net for you, and it really keeps a closer accountable to perform at the highest level and not flub. We were talking about this. You don't want to flub a close because it's going to come back to haunt you. If I just sign a deal just to sign it and then it doesn't install, I've just robbed myself. It backfires really bad. I got on a tangent a little bit here, but my whole point is that when it comes to different companies, I prefer a company where the leadership is going to favor what do they call that? The common man?
Leadership takes the risk or takes on more responsibility.
There you go.
But they get more reward. But the people under them are still, it's fair.
Exactly.
They're happy.
Yeah.
It's very hard to find leadership like that. It's so hard. And again, I was blessed that Nolan Dedelson recruited me as CEO. So I was able to meet a CEO, and now we communicate with them. And I hear their heart. I mean, we just had a pay dispute recently, and Jordan Binning, the CEO, I mean, he didn't even hesitate. He's like, that money is going to the rep, period. He's like, I don't even care what the argument is between pay. If the rep who came and closed the deal, he's getting paid. And that's the kind of leadership you need, someone who's not greedy. Mm-hmm. And so I want to bring this back to you, Will, because you're saying you guys didn't have an office structure and a training sessions in the office. So how did you, one, get close to Andrew Fuller amidst all of this? Like, were you guys on the same setting team? Was he a closer? You met him? Mm-hmm. And then from that, what was it about Fuller's influence and friendship with you that influenced you to jump from Florida to California?
Mm-hmm. So I was in Florida. I was a close. Fast forward, I'm starting to close now. Recruited a couple guys out. One of his old recruits, long time ago, he went to my college, and I was like, "Hey, I'm down in Florida." He left California and went back. I was like, "Hey, I'm down in Florida, selling solar." He's like, "All right, like I'm in."
One of your old recruits, you said?
One of his old recruits.
One of Andrew's old recruits. Mm-hmm. Okay.
So he came out. I guess it was just really expensive. I don't know what the situation was. He came out to Florida, and then he hit up Andrew because Andrew was still like, that's when NIM 3 happened. Everybody's,
in California.
Yeah, everybody's flying around. So he's like, I don't know what to do. So he brings everybody over to Florida because the guy that I recruited was his old one, and he just brought him on. So they bring a whole team over. Dude, they probably recruited 20, 30 guys.
I'm sorry, man. I'm really confused. You recruited one of his old recruits in Florida. Mm-hmm. So your old recruit brought Andrew into your scene? Mm-hmm. Oh, okay. And
so
then
we're at school. I go to Florida. He stays back at school. I get in touch with him. I said, hey, come out. We start working. He sees it. He hits up Andrew, says, hey, come out here. They come out here. So now we're all in one big happy family.
Where was Andrew before that?
I guess in Alabama. I don't know if he went to Alabama and just stayed low after the NIM 3. I don't know. I haven't really talked to him about it. We just my stuff at the apartment is still unpacked. Like, it's all still in boxes. We just got here and just hit the ground running. Okay. So he comes over. He brings him and Kyle. They start closing deals.
In Florida.
In Florida. Yep. So everything's going well there. And then our leadership, since there are no structure, you can ask Andrew this. He'll tell you every single time. There was zero leadership, zero structure. And he'll even vouch for me. He said he pitched on how to structure it like it's set up here, over there, and they weren't having it.
Smart.
And so he ended up getting fed up with it. We were running a blitz schedule, so Airbnbs are $3-4 grand.
They're expensive.
So
yeah,
our credit cards are maxed out, you know what I mean? And once the override hits, it's not, permits take 2-3 months in Florida, so you're not seeing your money for a long time. So you're fronting all this stuff for the Airbnbs every month, but you're waiting on it and just waiting on it, and it's not it takes a long time. So he was like, screw this, we'll just go back to California. So then he packs up, goes back to California. We end up jumping ship to another company called Sunder. Wonderful.
Oh, I know Sunder.
Wonderful.
Oh, yeah.
Wonderful.
They're here too.
Yeah, they're here.
I love them.
Why?
Them.
I don't love them. They are here, and they are my number one competitor.
The leadership that I was under, awesome guys. Wonderful dudes. Wonderful dudes. The reason why I left Solar Pro is because my leader looked at me in the face and said, if you ever leave, you're screwed. I'll steal everything.
Oh, man.
And you're like, bro, what? You brought me out here. You're my father figure, my second father figure.
He's the guy who came in the apartment and convinced you to jump.
Dude, how are you going to look me in the face and see that, man?
Wow.
Come on.
Wow.
So my mentor who says that, if your mentor, came to you and said that
I'd
to
feel
you,
betrayed.
You'd be like, bro, what in the world? So I was like, screw it. So we went over to Sunder. Now, Sunder was great. Loved them. Loved their leadership. Loved the company.
And what was pay scale like over there?
Setters, it's 60-40 for everybody. 60-40.
That's risky.
Very risky.
No upfront?
40% upfront. So if it's a
no way.
Yeah,
40% before install?
No. So 40% of 1,000. It's $1,000. So $600 to the closer, $400 to the setter. Every single deal. Yep.
Oh, I'm sorry. Run that by me one more time. There's only $1,000 after every close?
No. So the upfronts is 1,000. Same thing as with
to everybody.
Yes.
Closer and setter.
Yes, but 60% of that goes to me. 40% of that goes to the setter.
Got it.
On every single account.
What happens after install?
All of it's paid.
60-40 again.
Yep. Install and PTO all in one. So
that's a good setup. That's a good setup.
It was pretty good. I'm not gonna lie, it was pretty good because now I don't have to wait on my PTO, which takes forever in Florida.
I'm aware. Yeah,
forever. So I was like, dude, like this is ridiculous. I just got paid on some deals from last year that I sold for PTO coming this week. So
see, this is a good structure. I like it because the setter's gonna get paid more at install, but still, I still favor a setter getting paid a lot up front because it incentivizes growth.
Yeah, and they can float. They don't have to worry about
exactly. It incentivizes. If someone's only getting $400 up front per deal, it's not enough. It's not. I mean, it's good money. It's good. The best part is that when you compare this to an hourly job, even the worst paying company in solar is better than hourly.
I remember when I decided to start the job, right? I was still doing my math, my numbers. I'm like, okay, what do I need to make? What do I need to do to like make this make sense or worth it? Like, because I have no idea if I can do this. I was like, not really my thing. So I'm just completely like, all right, let me do the math on it. And it ended up being like 2 or 3 deals I would need to make. I'm like, 2 or 3 deals in 3 months. Okay, I can do that. Dude, there is no way I can't do that.
You should see this guy, how mad he gets if he only gets 3 in a month.
Yeah, dude.
He's coming home like doesn't talk to nobody. This dude likes 10 in a month. That's so good. That's so good.
Yeah, right before break, this last little break we did, it was the roughest neighborhood I've ever been in. Like, it was the most brutal every single day, fighting for my life. There was hours in the day I was speaking more Spanish than English, and I don't speak Spanish. So and renters, and it was just the ghosts, no sits, everything. Like, I'm putting up sets, and it's just nothing's coming through, nothing's paying off, and I am losing my mind.
All those thoughts are coming.
Oh, I'm like, oh yeah, all the thoughts of quitting come back, of like, what am I doing? Is God punishing me?
What am I doing
right
you're
now?
out there, you're like, what am I doing? Like, what am I doing? Really? That's what all the thoughts that come in.
Yeah, absolutely. And it really just takes okay, I committed to this.
Yep.
I am all in.
Yep.
And that's what even what I'm doing, I'm getting back is like, I'm going even more all in now. And I'm setting down even further roots here. Like, disclosure, for the last month and a half, I've been sleeping on a cot. Like, I'm not buying a bed. I'll be fine. And, I still could be fine, but the cot's starting to like tear a little bit. So, so I'm like, okay, fine. I'll go buy a bed. I am now officially setting down roots.
When I saw the bed in your room this morning, I was shocked, bro. I was like, no way, he actually got a bed.
Yep. So I'm like setting down roots. I went and bought a second bookshelf. Like, I'm in. Like, I'm in.
And these are the moments that you always remember too, though. Like, coming up, you're gonna remember being like, man, dude, you remember when we used to sleep on cots? You know what I mean? Like, that's what you
didn't have to. When
we moved in,
he's just like,
but it's just like, it's just, you left and now you're sleeping on a cot and now you're not. Like, you're just gonna remember all that.
Yeah, you actually kind of gave yourself a little delayed gratification there, because honestly, man, that's a good strat, because this whole past like month and a half we've been in this. Well, it's just a month, right? No, almost 2. Yeah, I mean, he's put himself through a boot camp. I mean, I've seen this guy come from like an average setter, and now he's like, Liam's one of the best I've ever seen.
Yeah, screw average,
Yeah, I mean, can't, like, that's what when we were talking about pay a second ago. I was like, even as like a bad setter or just a average setter, whatever, you can stay afloat and like just absolutely blow your money without any care, without any budget, whatever, and be fine. Like, there's not too many jobs you can do that, especially like the hours we work, or just in general,
or just being 19 and doing it.
Yeah, exactly. It's not very, that's not common.
Yeah.
So if you actually have like, if you actually like, are good at your job, or you put in more work, more effort, or just go all in, it pays off, and you start seeing those checks roll in, and it's like, oh, wow, okay, I wasn't expecting that.
Yeah.
Actually, when I was home and he called me, and we were starting talking like different deals and different families I'm about to get paid out from like installs and even like closes that were just delayed, I was like, started doing the math. I was like, oh my goodness. I was like, I didn't even realize I had this much weighting on me.
Yeah.
Like you just, I don't know.
You just keep building the pipe.
Yeah,
pipeline.
You've created discipline in your life, and delayed gratification is something that is better caught than taught.
Yep.
You have to have something in your life where you didn't give up and you waited it out, and it paid off. Man, I'm really proud of you, man. Because what he's referring to is we had a close in February, permits went through, and the panel got on the roof, but we couldn't get funding because he had his Edison account
A different name.
kind of frozen. No, it was just kind of frozen where they weren't generating him a bill for the last year. And so without a current Edison bill of recent 6 months, they weren't funding his deal. Our deal. I wasn't getting paid either. We've had it on the roof since like March. And so we've been waiting now 6 months to get paid, and we finally got paid out. That's that big check. Mm-hmm. The reason I'm even willing to show the check is because we have new recruits and they need to see the opportunities real. I like that you pointed that out, because they need to know that you can get paid over 6 figures in half a year, and you can, like, literally, I am a full-time college student just by these guys.
Over 6 figures in a week.
Dude, I know.
You know what I mean?
Well, that's a red line conversation.
But
no,
that's
real,
a
EPC conversation.
That is like, it's stupid to look at. You're like, no way. Like, there's no way. Yeah. But there's so much money in it.
Yeah.
It's just kind of there. I don't know where it is or where it comes from, but it's there.
It comes from safe streets. Hallelujah.
That's funny, because when I was at home, I was talking to someone about the job and the pay and everything, and they're like, "Where does the money come from?" I'm like, "Well, what? Good question."
It comes from safe streets. They front it.
Yeah.
It's just up in the cloud.
Yeah. Yeah. It's a great opportunity though, man. And man, dude, your story is very inspiring. Seriously, a lot of people go into college for sports. A lot of people go into college for friendships. And it sounds like that's why you were there. Yeah. But how inspiring is it that just like so many people, you go into college and you're not really getting a career out of it. You're getting an experience out of it. Mm-hmm. But you had the privilege of walking away with a 6-figure opportunity. Now, what would you say to somebody who's kind of on the edge about going to college? They're kind of on the edge about whether or not this degree is going to work out, or they need an opportunity. They might not want to do solar, but what do they need to take that leap of faith?
Usually what I tell them is like, the worst that could happen, you just go back to normal.
What do you mean? What's back to normal?
Normal college will always be there. Universities will always be there. You can always go back to school. My mom's going back to school. You can always go back to school. I don't care if you're 99 or 100. You can always go back to school. The credits will always still be there. My credits will always still be there. Worst case
expire.
Sorry?
Unless they expire.
Whatever.
Yeah, that's policy. Never mind.
But like worst case scenario, you can always go back. You can always, there's production plants will always be hiring. Factory plants it'll always be hiring. So worst case scenario, if this doesn't work out, just go back to normal. Go back to the Indiana.
Yeah. For me, like when I think about that, of like, okay, I'm going all in, putting all my cards on the table, just everything's center, right? All in. When I think about that, I don't even think about like the safety net or go back to normal. Mm-hmm. But I do know that I was actually talking to my parents about this. It's like worst case scenario, I drive a couple hours, I'm back home, and I can start again.
Exactly. Yeah.
Like
you can just.
I have options back home too. So.
Yeah.
All in.
I like that. That's a great way to put it, because I really don't know how long solar is going to be a gold mine like it is. And I think I'd rather live with I would rather not live, with the regret of something I never tried than live with the regret of me trying something and just not doing well.
Exactly.
Yep. That doesn't feel good. To when you see somebody that, like, for example, if it was you and one other guy and he decided to go and you didn't, and then you see him go be a millionaire and you stayed behind, and that's gonna sit. You're gonna feel that in your bed with you.
Yeah, it's they always say choose your hard. Staying the same is hard. Getting better is hard.
Yeah,
choose your hard.
During the drive to the office, we'll always pass like the homeless people, and one of the guys that I recruited out from New York was literally homeless, in and out of shelters, bad family life, bad home life, but like worst case, like the worst case scenario, you can, like whenever you say choose your hard, when everybody drives by that, I tell them, hey, choose your hard. It's either this, you know, you can have this kind of hard, you can go knock doors, or you can, you know what I mean? So good. Like you see people who are like on the streets with drugs and this, that, and they're all, you know, it's like choose your hard. Like it can always be worse. It can always be worse.
It can always be worse, and life doesn't wait up for no one. Doesn't stop for no one.
It doesn't, and it like if you don't keep up with, like if you don't keep up or like move past, like it's just gonna eat you up. And it was eating me up in college, eating me up, depressed, going through a breakup, just it was bad. I was going through it, and it's like, well, Will, choose your heart. It's like,
I love what you guys are saying. There's a saying I use for that. I'll say it once, I'll say it 1,000 times. There are two hards in life. There's a maintaining and a building. But maintaining is exhausting, and building is exciting.
Yeah.
It's fun. It's going to be hard to build something, and it's going to be hard to maintain something, but choose your heart. Are you going to have that heart of growing pains, or are you going to have the heart of like getting up and doing something that you get no satisfaction from? Getting up and seeing something that you see no growth, something that gets older, something that gets out of style. It hurts. It doesn't feel like you're getting anywhere. You're running on a treadmill versus running on a track marathon. There's a big difference to that.
Yeah, like always trying to keep afloat, just right there. That as that continues to go on, that sucks. Just always trying to maintain, keep afloat, keep your head above water. That sucks. But you're like, I like that. That's very true.
That's the type of thing that I was thinking about coming out here. Because like I said, working 60, 70 hours a week.
At Starbucks.
Starbucks, on top of school, on top of taking classes online to get ahead. And like I'm making maybe $2,000 every other week or so. Like I could make as much as I was making in a month in one deal in this job. Like it's crazy.
Speaking of school, when I first went over solar, I was still doing online school. And like you would Google like whatever bachelor I was going for, you would Google like the top pay, and it's like, dude, like why? Like why would I keep doing this? Then I was like, you know, jump ship, burn the ships. I don't care about mom's like, dental health, whatever, mom. Dropped out of college. And so did you drop out? No.
I'm actually here for college.
Okay, cool.
He's coming in as a freshman.
Yeah.
Yep.
Oh, we're all in college. But you know what? That's the best part is that you don't need college to do well in life. You don't need it. Mm-hmm. And to be honest,
I'm only for everybody.
Yeah, I'm only doing it to finish. I'm not really banking on college to make a career. Yeah.
Here's the beautiful thing about the college we go to and the field we're in. I say field, but you know, we go to a ministry college. No one's going to a ministry college for a paycheck.
Yeah.
I mean, if it can turn into a paycheck if you fall out of it or whatever, but you're not going to this school to make money. Right. So everyone that we bring on, they're already at college, not just to go get a degree or to take the safe route in life or whatever. They're going there with a purpose, with a goal in mind. Yeah, to grow and also to follow what God has for their lives. Mm-hmm. So, right here, he's here to follow that purpose, to follow that goal. Yep. And at the same time, the Iron Mill, we're here and we're able to come alongside that. And as they're growing, in that path and in their long-term, goals in life and long-time path in life, we have this short-term impact that's going to be long-term of growing as a man, growing physically, mentally, maturing and emotionally, spiritually, all this. And honestly, that's what the Iron Mill is all about. It is
going to be really fun for you guys. I'm excited to see it. You guys are going to be awesome. It's going to be fun to watch. A couple hours away, but I see you guys on the board all the time. I think I'm just behind you on closes too. Like I see it right there, and I'm like, man, I got to get him. Nice. So, yeah, but I think that's pretty cool. How you guys, even if you don't need to finish, but you have that goal to go do it, and like you're gonna go do it, right? You're not gonna go back to mom and dad with your tail tucked, telling them you didn't finish like the job. So I like that you're gonna go and do it to your best ability.
Yeah.
Well, I really enjoy this, Will. Honestly, man, we're going to have you on this podcast again.
Absolutely.
And yeah, definitely. Honestly, if hopefully whoever's listening I always want to reach this hand out. If you ever need an opportunity, there are guys that have been in every walk of life. Guys who are just starting college, guys who started, left, came back, guys who are about to finish, guys who literally showed college is not needed whatsoever to be an absolute stud. There's everybody in every single situation. All you need is dedication and hard work. So, man, I really appreciate everybody coming on today. And I think this is a good place to stop. What do you think?
Yeah.
It's pretty good?
Yeah, for sure.
Sounds good.
All right, man. Will, thanks again for coming on, man.
Appreciate it. Thank you,
Appreciate
guys.
it. All right. Goodbye, everybody.